BlackBerry playing the nostalgia card with its latest launch, introducing the Classic. It's an updated version of its formerly popular Bold phone. But is it enough to impress the jaded buying public? Well, for his view, we're now joined by Max Wolff, Chief Economist of Manhattan Venture Partners. He joins us via Skype. Max, what do you make of this new device?
So thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to join you. Look, I think this is a very good device. The name kind of says it all. It's a classic. Those folks who were resistant to or uninterested in taking the dive into a kind of touch screen slab and to try to give up a lot of security and some of phone functionality and possibly pay more because they really want that app world and the photo experience and the app experience, they're going to be happy they stuck with it. In terms of clawing back on the market share that's been lost over the last few years, I think this pretty wisely more or less throws the towel in on that and says, hey, let's double down and keep happy and try to grow as much as we can a user base that's enterprise driven and that wants a sort of simple professional smartphone. And this is exactly that.
Now, we're showing our viewers John Chen's presentation today, and sometimes the presentation itself becomes the news. How do you feel Mr. Chen performed? Is this sort of an Apple scale event?
Well, look, I mean, I think the performance was pretty good. I think the products are, look, they're not dazzlers, but they're solid. They're pretty good. They'll speak well to the audience that's kind of self-selected to BlackBerry, that's still there. I don't think it was in any way a bad or misstep presentation. I think the truth is what makes some of the Samsung events and all of the Apple events such huge deals is they get hundreds of millions of dollars worth of free ads and the media is all over the place and everybody wants to kind of go on board and goo and gaw a little bit. And the few negative voices are quickly drowned out by a really large applause of verbal form. And BlackBerry's just not in a position as a firm today to get that kind of thing. So I don't think it rivals an Apple unveil, but I think it is, again, a diminutive but still meaningful success for a company that still has to rebrand itself a little bit and has to talk to the smaller audience that's still relevant to their handset community.
Now, when you talk about the branding, we've heard a lot from John Chen in terms of him saying the handset business, he wants it to be profitable, but it's not his big concern. He's more into the services side. Is the rebranding going well? Because, again, here we are talking about handsets.
Yeah, so their problem is the whole world knows them both in their success moments and their relatively weaker moments and a relatively impressive turnaround, to be honest, over the last year with Mr. Chen. The truth is they're still known to the public as a handset maker, but their future is unambiguously not in that space. So they have this sort of weird situation where they spent a lot of time and money trying to get back to the top on the handsets. I think they've wisely given that up, and they really need to be about security features and software and the other parts of the business that are going to be much higher margin and grow faster, but it takes a while, and they still have a user base, and deserting that user base is not a good idea either. So they're kind of stuck.
In terms of the Passport as well, which was released earlier, do you feel that that sort of put the company on a more solid footing? It seems like they're selling pretty well.
Yeah, I think they're selling pretty well. I think it's a good example of better than expected. I think that for somebody who's a real professional user who wants a great email experience, wants to be able to do a little Twitter or Facebook if they need to, wants a great security experience, loves the physical keyboard, they're going to be absolutely dazzled. This is a very nice and pretty quick version of what you've come to expect from BlackBerry. In terms of clawing away at the market for things like the Samsung Note 4 or the 6 Plus, the bigger screen iOS and Android lead devices, I really don't think this is going to make much of a dent there. But I think this shows BlackBerry can still do better than people expected in their core area, and I expect it to be a moderate success. I would just caution against those voices that see this as somehow launching BlackBerry back into the upper echelons, top 5, top 6 handset makers. That just is unambiguously not going to happen off these devices and probably not going to happen anyway.
Max, I want to ask you quickly, only about 10 seconds, but Friday we get earnings. Do you think John Chen can beat the street's expectations?
I think that he'll meet or beat. What we're really going to look for here is to see how low that EPS loss is. If it's under 4 or 3 cents a share, it's going to be a big success. Likewise, it would be amazing to see a revenue number get really close to or go a little bit over $1 billion. But the $64,000 question go forward is how positive a guidance can we get from him? Because he's been very sober, and whatever he says will be worth listening to.
Well, thank you very much for your insights and your time today, Max.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
That was Max Wolff, Chief Economist at Manhattan Venture Partners, and he joined us via Skype.